I showed you a video where you were describing not just one parent, but a bunch of parents coming up and doing the fake crying on the left. Do you remember that video?
No, I don't.
If you've got a school of 100 kids and then nobody can find them, and you've got parents laughing on, and they walk over to the camera and go, and not just one, but a bunch of parents doing this. They think we're so dumb that it's really hidden in plain view.
Does that refresh your recollection about referring to not just one parent, but a bunch of parents doing the fake crying and the laughing?
Yes, it does.
Today, Alex Jones took the stand to testify in order to essentially determine damages he owes to the defamed families of Sandy Hook victims. This is the second of the 3 trials that he will be facing to determine damages. Now, this particular day of testimony was, well, as unhinged as you can imagine. The families are trying to make the case that while they suffered from the conspiracy theories that he spewed about them, Jones profited heavily from it. And his coverage of the Sandy Hook shooting, the lies that he told about the victims and the families, that was incredibly lucrative for them. Christopher Mattei, the lawyer for the families, delved into Jones's business model, selling diet supplements and other merchandise on his conspiracy-laden broadcasts. This is key to the case. It's already been established that Jones violated Connecticut's Unfair Trade Practices Act by using lies to sell products. There's no limit on damages under the act, and this is the damages trial. Now, last week, their lawyers spent several days showing how traffic to Infowars, its website, surged as Jones would speak about Sandy Hook and spew these conspiracy theories about the victims and their families. And while today was the first day we saw Jones in court, he's been attacking the judge, which is a really great idea, by the way. While you're standing trial, attacking the judge is just fantastic, but it does give you a sense of the sense of entitlement they have, where they think they could just, first of all, talk about the trial outside of court, which they're not supposed to do. And he thinks he could say whatever he wants about the judge with no ramifications whatsoever. So Jones said this is a travesty of justice, and this judge is a tyrant. The judge is ordering me to say that I'm guilty and to say that I'm a liar. None of that is true. I was not wrong about Sandy Hook on purpose. I questioned it. That was his argument against the judge and defense of himself. Cenk.
Yeah, well, the judge is telling you that you can't say you didn't do it because we already adjudicated you guilty. That part of the trial is already over. He's like, yeah, but I didn't do it. Yeah, but no, you can't say that. We're in the damages part of the trial, right? So if you wanted to say that, you had all the opportunity in the world. You were supposed to show up and you were supposed to do discovery, you were supposed to hand over documents, and we were supposed to have a normal trial. And you refused to do that. Now you come back and cry about how, oh, well, I wasn't guilty. No, that's not how it works. So look, I think he's basically given up. There's something in those discovery documents that he thinks are worth over $100 million. Because he lost about $50 million in the first case. He's got 2 cases left to go, and he surrendered in all 3 cases because he didn't want to turn over the documents. So that's why we're only doing the damages parts here, right? So, Jesus, what's in those documents that makes him think it's worth that much? So he's basically saying here, I don't give a damn about the law, about the judge, and I'm just gonna try to hide the money. And so nobody doesn't care about losing $50 million. That's not a thing, okay?
Right.
And so that means he thinks, I think I can outsmart you. I think I can hide the money. So I don't mind losing $100 million or more because you're never gonna get it.
I mean, you might be right about that, and we'll see how that plays out. He was trying to file for bankruptcy. I don't think that has gone through, but his statements about the judge did catch the judge's attention, and she talked about it in court. So let's see how she addressed the situation.
You've called this judge a tyrant, correct?
Yes.
One way that you've been conveying to your audience that Judge Bellis has been acting like a tyrant is by showing her with lasers coming out of her eyes, right? You know you did that?
I didn't direct that. First time I saw it was in court. I'm barred from saying why I said it. So
I didn't ask you why.
Oh,
this is the tyrant you've been telling your audience about, right?
I don't know.
I thought the laser eyes were a good thing.
Yeah, it's first of all, do the boomers in that courtroom know that it's what would it be, Dark Bellis?
Right.
Okay, and that would mean she's a badass. But I don't think Alex Jones' team meant it complimentary.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He also had a hard time keeping it together throughout today's testimony. Several lines of questioning from the lawyer representing the families prompted outbursts from Jones in violation of court rules, which require him to answer questions in a yes or no fashion. By the way, this was going on in the first trial as well. It was incredibly frustrating listening to his testimony. The judge, Bellis, repeatedly reminded Jones to just obey the rules. And by the way, in the first trial, there were all sorts of issues. The reason why these guys have a sense of entitlement is because they're not judged by the same rules that all of us are judged by, right? I remember serving on a jury years ago, back in 2008 or 2009, and the judge was so strict that she told all of us that if we show up to court dressed inappropriately, if the women come in with a sleeveless top or dress, she will hold you in contempt of court. And the idea that you would talk crap about the judge and then come to trial, testify, and not be held in contempt is pretty amazing. It really is. Yeah. Anyway, he lashed out at the family's lawyers, saying that he won't apologize to him. So let's take a look at that.
You have families in this courtroom here that lost children, sisters, wives, moms.
Is this a struggle session? Are we in China? I've already said I'm sorry hundreds of times, and I'm done saying I'm sorry. I didn't progenerate this. I wasn't the first person to say it. American gun owners didn't like being blamed for this, as the left did, so we rejected it mentally and said it must not be true. But I legitimately thought it might have been staged, and I stand by that, and I don't apologize for it.
And don't apologize, Mr. Jones. Please don't apologize.
No, I've already apologized to the parents over and over again.
We know you
I don't apologize to you.
Objection.
Don't apologize to you.
So I don't think the lawyer was asking for a personal apology, but it is what it is.
Of course.
Yes.
He's trying to misdirect there. So look, I think the court, the most important part of all of this is how are they gonna get the money? So once they have the orders, and guys, I didn't grow up in entitlement. I bet you a lot of you didn't, right? So you're probably having trouble understanding Alex Jones and Donald Trump. Like, I have trouble understanding them. How do they, like, if I broke a law or if I broke even a rule, the world would come down on me. So I'm worried about those things. There are consequences in all of our lives, right? But for them, they've never been held accountable. So their mind is not like ours. They think, no, I can break any law I like. And I don't ever have to pay out my victims. I don't have to. It's hard for us to comprehend it. So we should show them, no, the law actually applies to everybody. That's the core of this country. Are we equal or are we not? So the court should seize everything, his house, his cars. If he's on one of those little mopeds, come get the moped from underneath him. He's having a burger, you go, what a burger, just take the burger. Just have somebody, a bailiff or someone, follow him around. Oh, you're gonna go shopping? No, I'm taking those shoes. Whatever you buy is those parents, okay? Because are we gonna have rule of law in this country or aren't we? By the way, if you saw those parents testifying, oh, it's heartbreaking, Jesus Christ, at their lowest moment when their little first graders killed. This son of a bitch sends over fans to yell at them and to threaten them. And they're just like, what in the world is happening? And they're like, you're a liar, you're an actor, your son never existed. Man, I can't believe they didn't go to the wrong house. They are super lucky that they got away with that kind of psychological terrorism. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.